Hey friends, it's Christine from Hollishandscreate. Hope everyone is well. Today is Sunday, July 24th, and this is episode number 39. This is my Flosstube channel, my YouTube channel, about cross stitch primarily. Occasionally I have a few other goodies thrown in, depends on what I'm working on. Today we're going to primarily talk about, let's see, I got my list, whips, a couple new starts and a finish, two finishes, some retreat information. I went to a retreat last weekend, and some giveaways, a couple FFOs, and a little bit of haul. So how has everybody been doing? I hope you're surviving the heat. I'm here in Kansas City, and it's been just really, really hot here. We've been tipping out in, close to 100, or yesterday I think it was a little over 100. And it's funny, I don't know if you guys, when you log on to your computer, and maybe this is a Microsoft thing, but it gives me like a daily scene when I log on in the morning. And I think maybe Microsoft or my computer's trying to make me feel better about the heat, because the last couple of days the picture has been all fall themed, and I'm just like, oh, wouldn't that be nice? So anyway, maybe it's trying to take care of me or tell me something or get me prepped for fall, which is just around the corner. But we still have August to get through, and I think they call that, what, the dog days of summer, August. All right, so let's get on to what you're here for, the stitching. Okay, so I have my July calendar, and I've been doing pretty decently. I did have 3 days where I did not stitch, and that's just because I got sick, and just was running a fever and just was not feeling well enough to actually be doing any stitching. I did get one sticker from one of the wonderful girls, retreat attendees in Tulsa. I loved the sentiment, so I thought, I've got to put this on. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And let's see, I did stitch on Sparrow. I stitched on Gather In. I stitched on Equality Sampler, and two little new start and finishes that I'll show you. So let's get started with that. My Sunday stitch, which I showed everybody, which was a new start at my last video. I did only stitch on this 3 times. I didn't stitch this past Sunday as we were getting back from the retreat, and I'll kind of explain why as I get a little bit further into it. But and that is His Eye is on the Sparrow from Heartstring Samplery. I really am enjoying stitching this. It's a very earthy sampler. The animals and everything, that really appeals to me. So that's His Eye is on the Sparrow. And I believe that when I showed you last, I had just finished up through the flower, the big flower. Let's see, a little better light. So I finished the big bird and some of the flowers and the little, I think this is like, maybe kind of looks like, reminds me of Taurus the bull on the horoscope. Added a few more flowers in the border and extended the border up a little bit higher here and further across the bottom. And I am stitching this on 40 count affogato from Fiber on a Whim. I'm stitching this one with my good friend Christy Muir from Crosshatch Quilts. So this is our Sunday stitch. And I am going to grab my board real quick. Sorry about that. I always tend to forget this thing. And then when I go to hold something up, it's all wobbly. Okay, so that was my Sunday stitch. Now, I only did a couple of days on Gather In. And I'll show you, this is Plum Street Samplers, the Gather In. And I really just love this design. Now, I am not, you see, here, Calliope is the horse, and Edna is the proprietress. I am not actually putting in the names. So that is a change that I did make. And I'll show you. Now, I didn't get a ton done since last time you saw this. Basically, I think I was down here with the roof, and I've just extended the roof up. And that's about it. I only stitched on this one for about 2 nights. I did take it to Silver Needle Retreat with me in Tulsa. And the first evening, Thursday evening, I did do stitching on that roof. But then the next day we got some things that came out, and I leapt into those. I'll show you here in a minute. So there's Gather In. With all these fall themed scenes that I'm getting from my computer, it should be pushing me to get this one going. That one is being stitched on 40 count American Chestnut by R&R. So the majority of the time for my existing whips, what I stitched on was my what has become my annual. This is my 3rd annual historical sampler that Paulette designs. They're in the Rhode Island style, which is my all-time favorite. And this is the Equality Sampler. And this one came out in 2020 as the 100-year celebration of the anniversary of the women's right to vote. And I thought, I better spend the majority of time on this one because I have just until Labor Day to get this finished. And so since I've shown it to you last, I've actually gotten a decent amount done. Excuse me. So I was able to kind of come back over into here and finish all of this. I added in my First Lady, this flower, and have extended up. And then I've come, I had just done this part of the flag, and so I've come all the way back over across here. This is the outline for the blue portion of the flag, so I'll be working on that this week. So far I'm really pleased with, my progress, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to get this finished on time by Labor Day. I really want to get it finished by August 31st. We did purchase a house, and we closed this coming Thursday, but we're going to lease back to the sellers for a month to allow them to be able to close on their house because they're relocating to a smaller town, like maybe 45, 50 miles west of Kansas City. And so we're giving them that extra month. So we actually take possession August 31st. And, I'll have all this packed up and everything be ready to move. So I really would like to get it done by then because we're going to be in full force moving and unpacking and house cleaning and everything else by the time Labor Day rolls around. But we'll see. Even if I can get close on the 31st, so I put in maybe final stitches on Monday, Labor Day. We'll see how that goes. For those of you who maybe are not familiar with what I have done the last couple of years, I thought I would actually take a second here to show you what I have stitched, and that Equality Sampler is going to be joining. Now, I have posted a picture of these on my Instagram, but in case you haven't seen it, here is the Heritage Sampler, and this is the one that I stitched last summer, Memorial Day to Labor Day, and it's beautifully framed by Total Framing in Virginia. And I'll get a little closer so you can see the detail. You can see it pretty well. I use museum glass on these pieces. Now, talking to Paulette, this is her favorite. She said if she was gonna, buy and stitch any of these, this would be the only one. She absolutely loves this one. It's the first one that she designed, and her father actually gave her the name for this particular one. So here's the Heritage Sampler. Now the first one that I stitched, which is the one that kind of got me started on these particular samplers of hers, was a new constellation. And this is the first one that I did, because I love anything Betsy Ross. My girls love Bitsy, they called her. We used to live outside of Philadelphia, so we would go down to Independence Mall, where the Independence Hall and Liberty Bell and Constitution Center, Betsy Ross's house, Ben Franklin's grave, all of those things are all in that area there. And so we took the girls to see Betsy Ross's house, and they would call her Bitsy. But this one is based on her and the creation, of course, of the flag. And it does have the Liberty Bell in it and very significant dates. And you'll notice that this is in the same frame and fillet. And that is because I have the boards to do this frame on reserve with Terry at Total Framing, because I told her what I wanted to do. And so they very graciously have obliged my request. So these are matching. Now these two I stitched on the same linen. It's a 40 count Chantilly Cream by Lakeside. For excuse me, for Equality Sampler, I actually switched linens. It's another Lakeside linen, but this one is, I believe, Light Exemplar. I don't have my card with me, but I believe it's Light Exemplar from Lakeside Linens. So very excited about that. There is another one of these in the works, I have been told. I do know the theme, but I cannot share that. So I'm just really excited because that means I've got another year of stitching. So, which will be nice to have 4. So, and then I actually, from Early Things 1776 on Etsy, I kind of thought it would be cool to order some of these little 5x7 pictures, and I'm going to put small frames on these and actually hang them up with my stitches. So this one, of course, is, you know, Betsy and George, but it shows the flag, so this one will be next to Betsy. Then for next to the Heritage Sampler, I have Abe and the We the People. Really love this one. And just as the general, I mean, the Liberty Bell is on the Betsy Ross sampler, but I just love this Let Freedom Ring and the Liberty Bell. We've taken the kids, we took the kids down to see the Liberty Bell numerous times. And of course it seemed like just about every field trip for the kids, for each grade, was a trip into the city. A lot of times they would go to the Ben Franklin Institute, but they've seen these, and it's just a joy. And if you haven't seen it, it's really a trip that I would recommend. Anyway, so that's kind of what I've been doing, and I'm excited to get a Quality Sampler done. Excuse me. I still have just a little bit of a nagging drainage and cough from having been sick, so it's kind of driving me nuts. And I think this heat just exacerbates it. I have sinus and allergies anyway, and I just think the heat just exacerbates it. But okay, so that's where I was too. And now, as I said, I took Gather In with me to Tulsa, Oklahoma, for retreat, the Silver Needle retreat. Our designers were Paulette Stewart from Plum Street and Kimberly Nugent from Samplers Not Forgotten. Both just lovely ladies, and it was a great weekend. My friend Roberta Lyle, who you may watch as one of the Sable Stitchers. She started that channel not too long ago, and then another friend of ours from Stitch Club, Linnie, kind of guest starred on one of the episodes, and they loved it so much that she has now become the second Sable Stitcher. Both very sweet ladies. But Roberta drove down with me, and we had a really nice time, nice retreat. It was well run, and if you get the opportunity to to attend a retreat at Silver Needle, it's a great store, just lots and lots of models and fun things to see. I will insert some pictures from that weekend for you to see, but I'm also going to show you kind of some of the things that we were presented with and what kind of derailed me from doing more stitching on the Gather In. First, I'll show you what we received from the designers. Our first really big one, because Kimberly went first, was this Hummingbird's Garden, and really just a beautiful sampler. Now this one has a ton of specialty stitches. This band sample, this piece of this band here, each one of these bands is a specialty stitch. So Kimberly actually presented this first, so I believe actually on Thursday evening, so that all day on Friday she was there, so that if you wanted to go up and see, take pictures of the model, which I'll include a picture of the model, like really up close to get detail on some of the stitches. If you had questions, like you wanted to go ahead and start this and you had questions about some of the stitches, she was there to help. But it's a really, really lovely sampler. So that was from Kimberly, Hummingbird's Garden. And then she gave us a couple of little smalls kits. Look how beautiful the fabrics and everything, completely included. And this one is Needlebook Treasures, and everything there for you to make your own needlebook and all the instructions. So that was a really nice little small gift to go along. And then she actually gave us another one. And this one is a berry fob. Now there's no stitching on this one, so a lot of the people the first evening went ahead and put this together because you could do it just really quickly at the table. And you can see it has everything, including the walnut shells, to make this sweet little strawberry fob. Really cute. So now on the same evening, Thursday evening, Paulette also presented her small. And her small was the Freedom Pen Roll. It is so cute. She called it a little sushi snack, because after you've stitched this, you can just roll it. And she used a little bit of string to just tie it up, and she said it looked like a little sushi roll. So it's the Freedom Pen Roll. So we had gotten the smalls presented to us, and Paulette, anything Paulette does, that's kind of my jam. Plum Street Samplers is I just love it. So I actually launched into the Freedom Pen Roll. So this is what I ended up putting Gather In away and just working on this. And now, of course, obviously you can tell that I need to finish it, but I did get it all stitched, and I just love it. It was just really cute and sweet, and I thought, oh, it'd be so nice. And she said she actually just finger pressed it, folded it in, and blind stitched it all along the edge, and then attached the string on the end and rolled it up, and it's all done. So isn't that sweet? So I enjoyed this and got it all finished. So now I just need to FFO it. So that's what I ended up stitching then for the rest of the weekend, and hence the reason I didn't get anything more done on Gather In. And then I'll show you Paulette's. To take this one out of the picture. So she gave us, so this is the computer generated large picture, and here's the small, and this is Christmas in July. Isn't that sweet? Look at that house. So you've got some patriotic and some Christmas all built in to one sampler. Look at those trees. Absolutely love it. So, and there's, you know, there's the full kit with the threads and the fabric and everything, and excited to get started on that. So, and because I know Paulette, because I do have the shop and I see her at market, and I've also seen her at a couple of retreats, we kind of have, you know, become friends. And so the first day when we arrived, because we got into Tulsa on Thursday, we went straight to the shop and went in to kind of just start, you know, getting our spot at our stitching table, and then do a little, you know, pre-retreat shopping. And when we went into the shop, Paulette was in, and she had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 ladies who were, you know, asking her questions and talking. So as soon as I saw her finish with them, I walked up and said, "Are you holding court?" And she started laughing, and she's just such a sweet person. And so we kind of, you know, started chatting, how are you doing, catching up and things like that. I had seen her, of course, in March at market, but market's such a crazy time, it's hard to really have much in-depth conversation. So we, you know, had time to chat. And then she was like, "Okay, I've been here a little bit. I have to show you this." And she goes, "It is absolutely adorable, and I think we should stitch it." And right by one of the registers, there was a bowl full of these tiny little stitches on these little bit, made into these little bitty pillows, and they were the sweetest thing. So here's what they were. Prairie Fairies. And I'll kind of see if I can get that up close without it losing the focus. Do they not remind you of Mother Goose? They are so sweet. So she's like, "Okay, that's it. We have to stitch these." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So we each grabbed a pattern. It's all done in DMC, as most Prairie schoolers are. Now, I told her, and she kind of agreed, it's stitched 1/1 on 32 count. So that's why they're so tiny. When you have them finished, the finished size is about 1 5/8 by 2 1/8. So they're little bitty. But let me show you. I got home and immediately could not wait. And I can show these because my oldest daughter does not watch Flosstube. And I am going to stitch all of these and have them finished for my granddaughter Alaska's nursery. And we have big news in that we have another one on the way. Second baby will be due actually 2 days before Alaska's 2nd birthday. So we're very excited about that. And so I thought, well, you know, let's do these for the nursery. And so Paulette and I both decided, okay, we're going to start with the snail because it's just so stinking cute. And it only took about 5 hours or so to stitch this. You can kind of see. Let me see if I can find something. Okay, so this is a 3-inch corner square. Can you see this, the tininess of it? But oh, it's just, they're so adorable. So I'm stitching mine on 32 count platinum, which is just a Zweigart color. And there you go. Look at the tiny little details. Oh, they're just so stinking cute. Love them. So we've decided she's almost finished with hers. I started mine on Monday and finished it on Wednesday, and texted her a picture, and she was like, "Oh, you brat." And then she's like, "Okay, I'm almost, I'm right behind you." And I said, "That's fine, take your time," because I had to dive back onto Equality Sampler. If I don't get this thing done by Labor Day, I'm going to be upset with myself. So anyway, that's the other kind of new start and finish that I had because of the retreat. And I just love them. And I think we decided we're either going to go to either the Bluebird or the Crow next, one of those two. So, but oh, so stinking cute. So I added these to the shop. I don't know that I had ever even paid attention or noticed these for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, so I added them to the shop. So since I'm going to be doing all of them, I pulled out my newest bag from Judy at, you see that? Buckleberrie Quilts. Judy just makes the most beautiful bags, so if you have the opportunity to grab one, I would. And this is a really good size. Let's see, it is 13 by 13. So it's a really good size, very well made, beautiful fabric choices. And so I love that. So it's housed in that bag. So thank you, Judy, for that. One other thing, kind of little plug I wanted to do. Another lady that I met through retreats up in Amana, then in Nashville, she was there as an observer attendee, and we had gone to a talk on historical samplers that Nicola Parkman did for one of the groups in Nashville, Colonial Dames. And Ray was there, and Ray actually just officially retired from her career job, and she has a very extensive antique sampler collection, and it was kind of her goal to begin to reproduce them. And so she has launched her website. It's called Red Barn Samplers. So if you get the opportunity to go over and take a look at what she's gotten started with, she's just launched not too long ago, but again, called Red Barn Samplers. Ray is just an absolute sweetheart. She was in Tulsa, so I got a chance to see her again. And anyway, go and take a look at what she has. She's just a nice person, and I think you'll enjoy her taste in samplers. So I saw you. I'm just moving right along here. Let's see. I showed you my whips. We looked at retreat stuff. Okay, so obviously I was at Silver Needle. Beautiful shop. If you get the opportunity to go to Tulsa and go to Silver Needle, do it. I have my own shop, so I'm looking, when I go to brick and mortar stores, I'm kind of looking for things that maybe are older charts, maybe they've been sitting, in a store for a little while, maybe what is that store owner's taste? Is it different from mine? They order in different designers, different patterns, things like that. So I'm kind of looking for what I don't have or what I don't typically order. So anyway, I'm going to go through and kind of show you the little bit of haul that I purchased at Silver Needle. And the first thing that I got, and this is actually because of my friend Paulette as well. She is an enabler, just let me tell you, she is. Let me get my board back. We were over by the fabric, and she said, "Oh my gosh, did you see this Atomic Ranch fabric called Embellish?" And I said, "No, I didn't." So we headed right back over, and I bought this beautiful piece of Atomic Ranch fabric. called Embellish. You can kind of see the modeling there whenever I hold it like that. But it's really just, it's a beautiful sampler fabric. The modeling in it is actually so very subtle, so it's hard for me to maybe you can kind of see a little bit there. But anyway, so that was the first thing that I added right after I added Prairie Fairies. Then, you can just kind of get lost in the store, just looking and looking and looking. And so I was just, digging through baskets and things. And one of the first ones that I picked up was Halloween House. This is from Chessie and Me. I love Linda's little kits. They're so cute. Now, of course, with Linda Lautenschlager, who's the designer behind Chessie and Me, you can almost be guaranteed you're going to have a few specialty stitches. So you do need to kind of be prepped for that. But I got Halloween House. I dug through all of Brenda Gervais stuff, and this is called Cozy in the Pines sampler. Here you can see that one pretty well. I love that peacock up in the corner. And I think this one might be, yeah, this is from 2013. Cozy in the Pines sampler. So I picked that one up. Another Brenda Gervais, and I have had this in the shop, but it's been quite a long time, and she actually hasn't made this one available for a while. For those of you who watch Carol Softbox Stitcher, a lot of the time she'll have it on the wall, right beside where she's sitting in her dining room, and this is the Liberty House. I'm sorry, I should probably have taken these on the plastic. So this is not a very big one. It's only 100 by 140 stitches. So like a 9 by 11 piece of 40 count would work. I like that one. And that one is also from 2013. Then I was digging through some of Paulette's older charts that they had in the shop. Also from 2013. This is called Promised Lamb. I really love this. Isn't that pretty? Just a really, really nice sampler. So I got that one. Then up on the wall, and I will have to take this one out, I believe. They had a model, and every, we all know that models sell charts, not pictures generally. And they had this model up on the wall that I was like, oh, that's cool. Excuse me. And it's called Uncle Sam's Parade. And so I had to ask one of the ladies, I'm like, well, okay, tell me what is that model? And she said, that's by Sue Hillis. And I had never seen this one before, but I just love it. And I really like this, Uncle Sam on his unicycle. I thought, wouldn't that make a cool stitch and just do like a, like a pillow or something? Or frame it, hang it on the wall. But I just think this is adorable. It's got that very 1950s, 1940s, 1950s vibe. And I love that time period. So I got that one. Again, another one that, that I had not seen. I was looking to see, and this is from 2003. So it's definitely, it's 19 years old. So it's definitely an older design. And then the last one that I purchased while I was there was from Shepherd's Bush. Lindy had, gosh, I think maybe 3 big baskets full of Shepherd's Bush kits. And so I actually, well, let me take this out. That plastic's going to really glare. I had actually seen this one on the wall as a model, which is what sent me over to the baskets to start digging. And this one's called Harvest of Plenty. Harvest of Plenty. And let me see if I can get a little closer. Now, the picture does not do it justice. When you see the model stitched, it is so beautiful. And I love the hills, the rolling hills, the way that they did those. But it's so pretty. And again, this, you know, this is one of their kits. So everything, and it's done with silks. So you've got the, you know, the linen, the silks, the buttons, a needle, everything, everything in the kit. So anyway, so that was the last piece of my haul from the retreat and from Silver Needle. I do belong to a couple of clubs, so I did get in my collar and cotton, speaking can be hard, July 2022 thread club. I do the primitives and neutrals. Of course, those colors are very appropriate for July. It's a great club if you get the opportunity to get in. And then I also belong to the A Little Help from Our Friends Silver Needle club, kit club. And again, this plastic, let me take this out. The first designer designing for the club is Drawn Thread. And of course, this is called the Summer House Sampler Cushion. Isn't that pretty? Really pretty. And, you know, fully kitted. It has the fabric, the floss. It has a sweet little scissor fob from My Big Toe Designs, needle, everything in there. So that's from the A Little Help from Our Friends Stitching Club from Silver Needle. And then the Threads of History Club #1 from Country Sampler came in. I'm sure I know there's a lot of floss tubers who also belong to this particular club. But this was, and I'm going to just kind of show you how it was kitted from Country Sampler. They just do such a beautiful presentation. Our first designer was Alma from Blackbird Designs. And she did Lydia Cohagen. Isn't that sweet? Very simple. But sometimes, you know, I love that. I just love that it's kind of simple. And she punched up the colors. Now, she changed this a little bit. It's not a genuine reproduction. I'll show you. There's the, there's the original. And it was an original that she bought with Barb. And they just had not reproduced it and released it yet. And then here's how she Blackbird-ified it. If that's what you want to say. So that was our first one from Threads of History Club. And, you know, I may change the fabric, I'm not sure. I'm in the 40 count club, but right now 40 count linen is just turning into gold. They're very difficult to get. So they had to send it out with 36 count. 36 count's not usually my jam, with the exception of a couple of dyers. Picture This Plus and Fiber on a Whim. I find those weaves, after they've been dyed, tend to be much tighter and they stitch like a 40 count. I don't know what process they use, but it's very similar. Their fabric feels the same. So I've just noticed with those. So if you ever are thinking about in terms of, you know, stitching and the particular fabric you're considering, there are those fabrics and from certain dyers that, you know, they either kind of seem to shrink a bit or they're almost stretched a bit. I have found, for instance, with the Weeks fabrics, non-Zweigart base, which is, you know, mostly what Miranda has, those tend to be a looser hole. So I won't hardly stitch on a 36. I want to stitch on 40. But so you just, you know, you begin to kind of learn that. And, you know, if any time anybody has any questions, I do cut an awful lot of fabric every day. you know, shoot me a message or an email or something, and I'll be glad to guide you if I possibly can. I did have a question from last time's Flosstube where I had mentioned about not ironing gather in very often because it's on R&R fabric, and I tend to like, you know, with linen, you know, you almost have to have some kind of a steam or a wool pad or something to get the wrinkles out. But I don't like to do that with R&R fabric. It is not color fast. So I did have a lady ask me about that, and ask me about other you know, fabrics, dyers that their fabric is also not color fast. They are very specific in telling you that theirs is not color fast. Fox and Rabbit has two linens, the very popular Duxbury and Mayflower, which are not color fast, and they mark it very clearly that it's not color fast. So when I'm sending out any of those pieces, you know, I attach my little fabric tags, and on the back where I list, you know, like if it's Duxbury, I'll put Duxbury 36 count, and I will write not color fast, because it's hard to remember sometimes which ones are and which ones aren't. I don't typically wash my linen or my samplers after it's stitched. I try to be extremely careful, always wash my hands before I start. If it's a hot day and I need to, I may have to get up if I've been stitching for a while and go wash my hands again, because, you know, the oils and things on your hands. So I try to keep it very clean. Using over-dyed threads, you know, none of them will 100% guarantee that it's color fast. Even older DMC, I had a lady who messaged me. She was finishing a sampler that had been a whip for, I guess, I don't know, 15, 16 years. And she went to wash it after, and the DMC bled. So, you know, there's just no guarantee. But if you are going to do it, you know, a very light soak, cold water. Some people I know will use vinegar. There's a couple different things that you can use that it's supposed to lock in the color, but you know, just be really careful about that. Okay. Okay. Last thing, I had some giveaways. Let's grab those. And I've already messaged the winners, but I will show you, tell you who they were. First was Home of the Brave, which is the new design from Hands-On Design. I've already stitched this. This was my pattern I'm giving away. I actually have this one out to a new framer I've not tried before. Depending upon how it comes back, I'll show you those, and then I'll do a recommendation or not. But the winner of this one, by using the word brave, was Kathy Firth. Kathy Firth. Congratulations, Kathy. The next one, which I had shown as my finish last time, was the sampler, the ES Spot Motif Sampler. I love this one so much. I purchased it twice, once as a PDF and once as a hard copy. And this was the new hard copy that I didn't use. And this is the ES Spot. Female Worth, sold by 1884 Stitchery. And Sharon Robinson was the winner of this one. Congratulations, Sharon. And then if you'll remember, I had a misstapled book for Consider the Lilies that I said if you had your own staple remover and you wanted to, you know, restaple into the spine, this staple and this staple are supposed to be here and here. And there was an error. It's not stapled all the way through. I'll just, you know, I can show you real quick. Just that first part. And I had a couple people who said, I've got a staple remover, I'll take it. We had 273 comments altogether. But this one goes to Susan Quinn. Congratulations, Susan. And last but not least, this was a kit that I had gotten. It was the retreat that never happened because it got canceled because of COVID. And then finally they just mailed all of the kits. it's just something that I thought I might stitch it, but I'm just not. And anyway, the language of liberty, and everyone was supposed to use the word liberty. And for those that did, I did a draw, and Pam Seberg was the winner, and congratulations, Pam. So I wanted to say a quick thank you so much for all the really nice comments. I know I was gone for quite a while. The last time was like 2.5 months between videos, and I had so many people said, oh, I'm so glad to see you back. You know, owe us an apology for, you know, life happening. I super appreciate that. It was nice to read all those comments. And I just wanted to say, you know, a heartfelt thank you. I love this community, and you really do feel like you get to know people. It's interesting then going to retreats. I had quite a few people come up and, you know, talk to me because they had watched my Flosstube channel. And, you know, then you just really begin to get to talking, and you just feel like you know, you just made another friend. Prime example, I love Marlene Bush, who is Stitching by the Lake. I watch her every time her video comes out. I just love her. You know, you just gravitate to certain people. Well, she was in Tulsa, and so I got to do some fangirling and was so excited to get to meet her and sit and chat. And, you know, we took a picture together and exchanged, you know, contact information. And she's just such a sweet lady, and love her to death. And if you're not watching her, you need to go over and watch Stitching by the Lake. Miss Marlene, she's just a sweetheart. Okay, I think I've kind of gone through everything. About 45 minutes in, that's where I'd like to kind of draw the line if I can. Hope I've not forgotten anything. I don't have a giveaway for this time because I am anticipating that by the next time I get to do a video, it's either going to be right before we are starting the moving process and everything's going to be completely packed up, or it may even be potentially after we're into the house and be mid-September. So I didn't want to drag that one out for, you know, forever long. So thank you again for watching me. If you're a first-time viewer, which I had a lot of this last time, so glad to have you here. Welcome. I hope you'll come back. I hope you saw something that maybe inspired you. If you are a regular viewer, thank you for coming back. Thank you for sticking with me. Hope you'll come back as well. For those of you who would like to have the newsletter, you know, from the shop, email me, and my email will be down in the description box below, and we'll get you added to the newsletter. I got another one that's getting ready to come out. So I hope you had a fantastic Sunday. Hope you make it through the rest of this summer and the dog days of summer and this heat that's kind of been oppressive for a lot of the country. If you're somewhere nice and cool, or you're overseas, though my daughter lives in Italy, and they've been oppressively hot there too. I know the UK has been, you know, had some really desperately hot temperatures as well. You know, stay cool, keep stitching, and I'll see you next time. Make sure you create every day. All right, bye-bye now.